Can you understand this story without reading subtitles? Welcome back to day 2 of our 30-day active input challenge. Today's story is about one of the most unforgettable days of my life, my first day at a new school. Before we begin, I have a listening challenge for you. At the end of my story, what is the most important lesson I learned? A. Making friends is impossible. B. Every friendship begins with a simple hello. C. School is always scary. Don't guess. Listen carefully until the very end. Then comment A, B, or C below. Now, let's begin. I still remember my very first day at a new school. Even though it happened several years ago, it feels like it was only yesterday. That morning, my alarm rang at exactly 6 o'clock. I opened my eyes immediately because I knew this wasn't going to be an ordinary day. I wasn't just going to school, I was starting a completely new chapter in my life. For a few moments, I stayed in bed and looked at the ceiling. I felt excited, but I also felt nervous. So many questions were running through my mind. Would anyone talk to me? Would I make new friends? What if everyone already had their own group? What if I spent the whole day alone? The more I thought about those questions, the more nervous I became. I slowly got out of bed and opened my bedroom window. The fresh morning air filled my room. The sky was bright blue and the sun had just started rising. It looked like the perfect morning. I took a deep breath and quietly said to myself, everything will be okay. After taking a shower, I carefully put on my new school uniform. It still looked brand new. I checked myself in the mirror, then I checked again. I fixed my hair, straightened my shirt, and cleaned my glasses. I wanted to make a good first impression. Before leaving my room, I opened my backpack one last time. My notebooks were inside, my textbooks were there, pens, pencils, water bottle, everything was ready. Even though I had packed everything the night before, I checked it all again because I didn't want to forget anything important. When I walked into the kitchen, my mother was already preparing breakfast. She smiled as soon as she saw me. "You look nervous," she said. I laughed a little. "Is it that obvious?" She nodded. Then she placed a plate of eggs and toast in front of me. While we were eating, she looked at me and said something that I still remember today. "Don't try to become someone else. Just be yourself. The right people will like you for who you are." At that moment, I simply smiled. I didn't know it yet, but those words would help me later that day. After breakfast, I left home and walked to the bus stop. The weather was cool and comfortable. As I walked, I saw many students wearing the same school uniform. Some were walking with their parents, some were talking happily with friends, others were laughing together. Seeing them made me smile, but it also reminded me that I didn't know anyone yet. When the bus arrived, I found a seat near the window. Looking outside helped me relax. People were opening their stores. Coffee shops were beginning to fill with customers. The city was slowly waking up. Everything looked normal, only my heart felt different. It was beating much faster than usual. About 20 minutes later, the bus finally stopped in front of the school. I stepped outside and looked at the building. It was much larger than my old school. There were several classroom buildings, a huge playground, beautiful gardens, and hundreds of students walking in every direction. Everyone looked confident. Everyone seemed to know exactly where they were going, except me. I looked down at the paper in my hand. Room 204, second floor. I repeated it several times in my head. I was afraid of entering the wrong classroom. When I finally found the room, I stopped outside the door for a moment. I could hear students talking inside. I took one deep breath. Then I slowly opened the door. Several students were already there. Some were chatting, some were laughing, some were looking at their phones. Nobody noticed me. For a moment, I didn't know where to go. I quietly walked toward an empty seat near the window. I've always liked sitting near windows. Looking outside somehow makes me feel calmer. I placed my backpack on the desk and sat down. A cool breeze came through the open window. Little by little, my breathing became slower. Just then, I heard someone say, "Hi." I turned around. A boy was standing beside me with a friendly smile. Is this seat free? He asked. Yes, of course, I replied. He sat down beside me. My name is Daniel, he said. I'm Alex. It's nice to meet you. For the next few minutes, we talked about simple things, where we lived, our favorite school subjects, our hobbies. The conversation wasn't long, but it completely changed how I felt. But it also reminded me that I didn't know anyone yet. When the bus arrived, I found a seat near the window. Looking outside helped me relax. People were opening their stores. Coffee shops were beginning to fill with customers. The city was slowly waking up. Everything looked normal. Only my heart felt different. It was beating much faster than usual. About 20 minutes later, the bus finally stopped in front of the school. I stepped outside and looked at the building. It was much larger than my old school. There were several classroom buildings, a huge playground, beautiful gardens, and hundreds of students walking in every direction. Everyone looked confident. Everyone seemed to know exactly where they were going, except me. I looked down at the paper in my hand. Room 204, second floor. I repeated it several times in my head. I was afraid of entering the wrong classroom. When I finally found the room, I stopped outside the door for a moment. I could hear students talking inside. I took one deep breath. Then I slowly opened the door. Several students were already there. Some were chatting. Some were laughing. Some were looking at their phones. Nobody noticed me. For a moment, I didn't know where to go. I quietly walked toward an empty seat near the window. I've always liked sitting near windows. Looking outside somehow makes me feel calmer. I placed my backpack on the desk and sat down. A cool breeze came through the open window. Little by little, my breathing became slower. Just then, I heard someone say, "Hi." I turned around. A boy was standing beside me with a friendly smile. "Is this seat free?" he asked. "Yes, of course," I replied. He sat down beside me. "My name is Daniel," he said. "I'm Alex. It's nice to meet you." For the next few minutes, we talked about simple things, where we lived, our favorite school subjects, our hobbies. The conversation wasn't long, but it completely changed how I felt. Only a few minutes earlier, I had felt completely alone. Now I felt much more comfortable. Sometimes, one simple conversation can change your whole day. A few minutes later, our teacher entered the classroom. She greeted everyone with a warm smile. "Good morning, everyone." The classroom immediately became quiet. She introduced herself and welcomed all the new students. Her voice sounded calm and friendly. Listening to her made me feel more relaxed. After explaining the classroom rules, she smiled and said, "Now I'd like everyone to introduce themselves." The moment I heard those words, my heart started beating faster again. I had practiced introducing myself many times at home, but suddenly, I couldn't remember anything. One by one, my classmates stood up and introduced themselves. Some students spoke confidently. Some made everyone laugh. Others talked about their favorite hobbies. The closer my turn came, the more nervous I became. Finally, the teacher looked at me. "Alex, would you like to go next?" I slowly stood up. Everyone looked at me. For 1 second, my mind became completely blank. Then I remembered my mother's advice, just be yourself. I smiled and began speaking. "Hello, everyone. My name is Alex. I recently moved here, so everything is still new to me. I enjoy reading books, drawing cartoons, and learning English. I'm a little nervous today, but I'm really happy to meet all of you. I hope we can become good friends. Thank you." When I finished, the whole class clapped. Several students smiled at me. Some even said, "Welcome." At that moment, I realized something important. Nobody expected me to be perfect. They simply wanted to know who I was. Immediately, I felt much more relaxed. The rest of the day became much easier. At lunchtime, Daniel invited me to sit with him and his friends. At first, I mostly listened. Then someone asked about my hobbies. When I said I loved drawing, another student smiled and said, "Me too." We spent the rest of lunch talking about cartoons, movies, and our favorite artists. It was amazing how quickly strangers could become friends. When the final school bell rang, I packed my backpack with a smile. That morning, I had walked into school feeling scared and alone. Now I was leaving with new memories and new friends. On the bus ride home, I looked out the window again. The same streets, the same buildings, the same city. But everything felt different. When I arrived home, my mother asked, "So, how was your first day?" I smiled. It was much better than I expected. That night, before going to sleep, I thought about everything that had happened. Then I realized the biggest lesson of the day. Being nervous is completely normal. Everyone feels nervous when they experience something new. The important thing is not to let fear stop you. Sometimes, one smile, one conversation, or one simple hello can completely change your life. So, what was the correct answer? If you chose B, every friendship begins with a simple hello. Congratulations, you got it right. Part 2, Vocabulary Upgrade. Now let's take a closer look at 4 useful expressions from today's story. These are common expressions that native speakers use in everyday conversations. Try to listen carefully to the pronunciation because you'll hear them again later. Number 1, make a good first impression. A first impression is the opinion people have about you when they meet you for the first time. If you make a good first impression, people usually remember you in a positive way. For example, I wanted to make a good first impression on my new classmates. Have you ever tried to make a good first impression? Maybe before a job interview, or on your first day at school, or when meeting someone for the first time. It's something we all experience. Number 2, be yourself. This is one of the most common pieces of advice in English. When someone says, "Just be yourself," they mean you shouldn't pretend to be someone else. You don't need to act differently to make people like you. People appreciate honesty. They like the real you. For example, I was nervous, but my mother told me to just be myself. Number 3, have something in common. This expression means 2 or more people share the same interests, hobbies, or experiences. For example, Daniel and I had something in common because we both enjoyed drawing. Finding something in common is one of the easiest ways to start a conversation. It could be your favorite sport, your favorite movie, your favorite food, or even your favorite color. Small similarities often become the beginning of great friendships. Number 4, step out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is a situation where you feel safe and comfortable. Stepping out of your comfort zone means trying something new, even if it feels a little scary. For example, starting at a new school helped me step out of my comfort zone. At first, it wasn't easy, but after talking to new people, I became much more confident. Sometimes the best experiences happen outside your comfort zone. Great job. Now that you understand these expressions, let's move on to one more listening activity. Part 3, Listening Review. This time, don't try to understand every single word. Instead, focus on the meaning. I'll ask you 3 questions. See how much you remember. Question 1. Before entering the classroom, how was I feeling? A, calm and confident. B, nervous and worried. C, excited but angry. The correct answer is B, nervous and worried. Even though I was excited about my new school, I couldn't stop thinking about all the things that might go wrong. Question 2. Who was the first person to talk to me? A, my teacher. B, Daniel. C, the school principal. The answer is B, Daniel. One friendly conversation completely changed my first day. Question 3. What was the biggest lesson I learned? A, always study alone. B, school is scary. C, every friendship begins with a simple hello. The answer is C, sometimes all it takes is one smile, one conversation, or one simple hello to begin a new friendship. Shadowing practice. Now let's practice speaking together. Listen carefully, pause the video, then repeat after me. I was nervous, but I didn't give up. Just be yourself. We had something in common. Every friendship begins with a simple hello. Excellent! The more you repeat English out loud, the more natural your speaking will become. Ending, fantastic work. You've just finished day 2 of the 30-day active input challenge. Whether you answered one question correctly, 2 questions, or all 3, you are making progress. Remember, improving your English isn't about being perfect, it's about practicing consistently. Just a few minutes every day can make a huge difference over time. Before you leave, I'd like to ask you one simple question. Have you ever been nervous on your first day at a new school or in a new place? Write 1 or 2 sentences in English in the comments below. Don't worry about making mistakes. Every comment is another chance to practice your English. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, keep learning, and I'll see you tomorrow.